AM Minnesota. Today we're going to talk about some fun that you can experience at the Paradise Center for the Arts. You can experience fun there all the time, but I mean in particular this Friday there is a terrific show that'll be happening. A little birdie told me that this is one of the best shows the Paradise has.
Yes, we have Deuce's Wild Dueling Pianos coming back, and my understanding this will either be their fourth or fifth time, and they always sell out.
Oh, well, that's because people have a good time every time they
They
go.
do, yes.
The word gets out, and you're a sellout? Not yet?
Not quite yet, but tickets are going fast. So I think we have about 50 or 60 left, which isn't much.
No,
for our
so get on
auditorium.
there right now on their website, right? Your
Yes,
website.
ParadiseCenterForTheArts.org.
And get those tickets. They are $23 for members, students, $28 for non-members.
Yes, that's correct. And so students, that's probably a lot of college students just coming home. You're included in that too.
Oh
so.
my gosh, I've been told that people of all ages love the group.
They do. They are so much fun. I know we're going to hear from Dave in a little bit. Part of Dave and Ted are the Deuce's Wild Dueling Pianos. And I was actually on another station last week, and they were getting ready to fly back from LA. So they travel all over the country, and it's just really awesome that they'll come and still do shows at a place like the Paradise that's affordable. I was looking on their website, and some of their tickets are upwards of $50 to $75 at other venues.
Wow, that is pretty cool that they do this.
So that they're willing to come back to places that they have played previously and keep it affordable.
Yeah, well, there's sellouts at other places too around the country.
Yes, and much bigger theaters in the Paradise.
And a little birdie who helps man your bar tells me that this concert had the highest bar bill.
That is what I've heard. I started at the Paradise after they had actually, I think, played the month before I started. So, but that's the rumors. Either them or is it the comedian Louis?
Well, he would probably.
Louis Anderson.
But I asked, and they man your bar quite often.
Yes. So.
I said when I was there for the Buddy Koopman Orchestra.
Okay.
That's when I asked. I know it's a weird thing to ask, but I was just curious.
No, people have a good time when they come to Deuce's Wild. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that tells you that they do.
Yes.
No. And audience participation is a huge part of their show.
Yes, but not like scary. People don't have to be worried about feeling picked on.
They're not going to grab you and throw you on stage.
Right, but they do lots of fun. I know do a variety of requests. They play different instruments. I don't know if they do it for this show, but we actually had a picture of them on the front of our cover, and I realized they're dueling pianos, and the picture of them is playing guitar. So they were dueling guitars, and I don't know if there's dueling saxophones, but they have, I think it's just a blend of every imaginable genre of music, and so there is something there for everyone.
And that's why everybody likes it, yeah, because people of all ages, like we said, if you're in your 20s or in your 80s, you'll love this.
Yes, and they do some improv as part of it, so each show is different because they're pulling from that very day, so it's not a repeat of the last time you saw them.
Yeah, we'll ask Dave about this and how that works too, because I'm guessing they get a feel for their audience and then they take it off from there.
I'm sure they do, yes.
Every audience is unique.
They sure are.
So that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. We'll be visiting with Dave by a telephone here. Are these guys based in the Twin Cities?
They are. They are originally from Minnesota. I feel like we'll have to ask him. I feel like there's a St. Cloud connection. I don't know.
There's a St. Cloud phone number here. I know that.
So I feel like there's a St. Cloud connection with them, but they travel all over the country. But they call Minnesota home.
Dave and Ted have sold out shows at the Paradise and all across this great nation. Doesn't say that here, but I added that. Deuce's Wild Dueling Pianos defies all expectations and experiences of a dueling piano show. Zany, witty, wild. That's how it's described. So we're looking forward to visiting with Dave about how zany, witty, and wild he's feeling this morning, because he's probably a night person. When our AM Minnesota show guest today. Dave, how you doing?
Great, how are you?
Well, I'm fantastic.
Before, that's awesome.
Well, it's the first time in your life, you can strike that off your bucket list.
I made it, Mom.
Yep, you're right after the corn and the beans. Also with us in studio is Kristen Twitchell.
Hi, everybody, and hi, Dave. It's great to get to talk with you. I've already got to talk with your other half, Ted, but it'll be fun to have you on the air with us today.
So, Dave, Kristen and I were just talking. What were we just talking about? We were going to ask Dave about
the Minnesota Connection, how they met,
yeah,
or where they're from.
How'd you guys get started in this?
Oh, people ask that all the time, and we always like to say we met in prison, but that's not true. He auditioned, he got the job. I've been doing this for a long, long time.
Well, if you met in prison, then you might have been.
He moved to my town, stalked me until he got the gig. Let's put it that way.
I was saying if you met in prison, you might have met here in Faribault then. But so am I remembering right? Is there a Central Minnesota connection or a St. Cloud connection?
Ted lives in St. Cloud, and I grew up on the Iron Range up north.
So you auditioned to be a member of the group. Is that what you said?
Ted auditioned to be a member of my group, yeah.
Oh, of your group. Okay, I thought it was the other way around. No kidding. You started at the Mall of America. Well, that's kind of interesting. Boy, no kidding. That was back when I used to go there fairly often. They had a country bar there, if I remember right.
Yeah, they had a whole level of bars, I think.
Oh, they had a lot of bars. Yeah, the one floor there. Yep. If I remember right, Faith Hill was there very early in her career, because I remember seeing her there. This is before she got married too, you know.
Pre-Tim McGraw days.
But you know, I had about as much chance of. We won't go there. So, Dave, tell us about your show.
Deuce is Wild. It's really fun. It's audience interaction, a lot of good singing. Everything that we do, people know the words to, unless it's something that we wrote and it's a parody or it's kind of fun, kind of silly, kind of strange stuff.
Now we have a picture of you on the front of our season guide this year, but you're actually playing guitars instead of pianos. So do you bring more than pianos with you, or is that a different type of show?
We do bring lots of instruments. We bring guitar, saxophone. Ted plays a mean harmonica, ukulele, but it's just all entertaining. I think we could do the whole show on ukuleles if we had to at this point.
Are they dueling ukuleles?
Good idea. You're hired. You're my new agent.
Well, that sounds like just the fun name of a group, along with just to be dueling ukuleles.
It does sound like a kind of an interesting idea.
So I'm a first timer. You mentioned some of the things. So besides all the instruments, what other things can I expect?
Well, you can expect to hear at least one of your favorite songs, maybe two. You can expect that there's going to hopefully be somebody up on stage helping us out doing something fun. And you can probably expect Ted and I to say something so stupid that you can't believe that it was said. Nothing offensive, just stupid. Stupid and fun.
Yeah, it's clean fun, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what one of the things we were talking about before you came on the air with us is, I know Ted mentioned some of the improv stuff, so and that each show is a little different because of that. Is how do you draw your improv? Is it directly off of the kind of the audience that's there? Have you some ideas because you've been in a community before?
A lot of it is just audience driven. We see somebody wearing camouflage. Well, what pops into our head when we see somebody wearing camouflage or a guy with an orange hat? You never know. You just never know. Maybe we'll go down a deer hunting path, or we see somebody with a little tiny shirt on. We go, well, we know there's a baby gap in town or something. Guy with the big muscles and big arms and his shirt stretching over his muscles. We just have no idea what's going to happen until we jump up there.
That's got to be fun, though.
It is fun because it keeps us fresh. We have to be sharp. We have to be on our toes.
So you said over 30 years. What has made you stay with this for so long?
Well, it's nice to get paid. It's really nice. Think about, I like to say this when people say, geez, Dave, you're in your 40s now. I tell you, I was young when I started doing this. And how long are you going to keep doing this? And look at those old pro golfers that are still golfing on the senior tour. That's going to be me. I'll be the guy sitting in the corner at a country club when I'm 80 years old playing Every Rose Has Its Thorn on the piano, and there's old Dave playing Every Rose Has Its Thorn. But now it's going to be $1,000 a night or something.
Hey, Tony Bennett's been packing them in Vegas, and he's in his upper 80s.
And now And now I'll have that song in my head all day long because, you know, I am a child of the 80s, so.
That's a good point. Do you have like 40s, 50s, 60s music, or is...
We do a senior show sometimes, and it's a lot of that music. Oh, I love picking from it. It's the best type of music.
It really is. I love big band music.
Yeah.
All they have are just awesome.
And we do get a lot of seniors at our show, so I know particularly I've heard when you come to Faribault you do a pretty diverse range of music because our audience is a pretty widespread in age.
People born in the 30s come out to see that show. But the fun thing is there'll be people, just with little kids and stuff every now and then. Not saying that it's a little kid show, but young teens and stuff, they tend to like it because we're just so... I don't know. We put out a lot of energy, and even the songs that the kids don't know, maybe like "Hey, Good Looking" or something from the 40s. But we'll do something fun with it. We'll do something stupid. So that makes it fun for the kids.
Wow, I can't imagine anybody not knowing that song, even if you're young.
Well, if you're 10, what's that song? If you're 10 years old, you've never heard that before.
You don't think so?
No.
And poll after the show.
Now, if it's Macklemore, my 11-year-old probably knows, but...
You're a little no Macklemore, that's for sure.
Yeah, but maybe not some of the younger stuff. So, is it true? Do you all do some props too? That's part of this. I've seen some pictures. I didn't know if those were just part of your staging because there's some that look like you're channeling some Elton John.
That's right. Now here's the fun thing. We take notes on every show that we do. So the next time we roll into town, we don't do the same show. So if we did Elton John last time, well, maybe Elton will have to come out no matter what. There's a couple other guys that have been coming out lately, and I get a kick out of it. I don't know if it's more fun watching the other guy in the show do his version of some of these old celebrities, or if I like doing them better myself. I don't know. I really like watching the other guy do them. He's just funny.
So Elton John would be the zany costume and the big glasses, right? And of course, he probably is one of the more famous people that play the piano today.
You could recognize him a mile away, and when Ted does it, he looks like Elton John. That's for sure.
Do you have a favorite musician or character you pull out, or is that a secret for the show?
Yes, it's not a secret, but let's just say I don't have a favorite. I like doing them all. I like, for me, it's a joy. If I won the lottery, I would keep doing this exact same job. I just do it a little less, and I'd do it for free.
Wow, you hear that?
Yeah.
Free. I gotta admit, if I won the lottery, I'd be gone. I'd be traveling the world.
So where's the farthest away you all have taken this show?
We are just down in Panama. That's not the one in Florida. That's the one in Panama. Ted found out they have a canal there. He didn't know about the canal. So
No kidding.
Panama in January. We were in L.A. last week. And we're in Florida coming up here in a week. Go to wildpianos.com. You can take a peek. We're down in Vegas coming up. So all kinds of places.
Anything else, Kristen, before I let our guest go, and then we can talk about some other upcoming events at the Paradise?
No, just unless there's anything you want to tell our listeners.
Great theater. Your community, I'm just proud of you guys for supporting. It's such a cool, I love these older theaters. They have a cool sound. We have a new sound system that we just can't wait to bring in there. the sight lines are great in that theater. It's not too loud. That's what I like about it. You don't have to be too loud. Everybody can hear a whisper in there. It's a great theater.
Well, that's awesome to hear, isn't it, Kristen?
It is. And I don't know if you've done this at the Paradise. I was looking on your website, and I'm intrigued because I know some of my friends at some of the other theaters have done it, but you all do some of fundraisings too. And how does that, when you're doing that, is that usually for the theaters, or do nonprofits hire you all? What does that look like when you do fundraisers?
Different kind of fundraiser. Sometimes it's a theater that hires you, yes, and then sometimes it's a guy who has a tent, and it's $500 a person to be in that tent, and we've done that. We've done hospital fundraisers in ballrooms at hotels, and they'll charge $50 or $100 a ticket, or not all of them are $500 a ticket. Let's put it that way. We don't get much of that money. We're just glad to be part of it. They just hire us straight out and make some money. That's how it works.
Well, that's just really awesome. We were talking before you were on the air that, obviously with all this touring, you could say you've, quote, made it, but the fact that you're willing to come back and do a theater like the Paradise, or my friends over at Tammy over at Memorial Auditorium, these smaller venues that, you could easily pass by. We're just very thankful for that and excited to have you.
Well, thanks. Theaters are our favorite place to play. We think we've made it when we're playing a theater like your theater.
Wow.
Well, good. Well, we are very...
We're going to be able to get Kristen's head through the door here.
Wonderful place.
It really is. There isn't a bad seat in that place.
No, there isn't. And we are just excited to have you. I think it's been a couple of years. I started in July of 2016, and I think you all were there in June. So we're glad that you all are able to come back, and excited to have you back on our stage. You were probably the most requested that folks wanted back. So we listened to our audience and our members and said we've got to get them on the schedule.
Now Dave can't have the phone on his ear because his head's too big.
Right. Well, we've always sold it out, but I think there's like 50 tickets left. So people grab those tickets up and come on out. Let's do it again.
It does sound like a lot of fun. Anything else, Dave, before I let you go?
Nope. Just glad to meet you. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, I appreciate your being on the show. Break a leg, okay? I mean, not literally, of course. But it's kind of a show term, right? No. Mm-hmm. Break a leg.
Thanks, Dave. We'll see you Friday.
Yeah, Dave joining us from the dueling group.
Deuces Wild Dueling Pianos.
All right, we got other stuff coming up too. I know the Merlin Players.
Yep, so the Merlin Players are opening the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which is a musical.
Yep,
and
we'll have them on the show on the 18th, I believe.
Nope, that's when you have Gary Rue and the Fab Six is on the 18th. I think you have Merlin before then because their show opens before.
They're on the 14th.
The 14th.
Flag Day. They're on Flag Day.
So it's a full lineup of shows at the Paradise. So we've got, after that show, then we close out, kind of begin and close out June with amazing music. So we have Fab Six returning with the Beatles Encore, All You Need Is Love. Folks who missed that show last year, you don't want to miss it this year. It's the six guys who are incredibly talented musicians, plus they have brass and strings on stage with them, some backup singers. It's quite a production. It sold out last year, and everybody talked about how just a terrific show it was.
And the neat thing about the Beatles, again, just like this show, it doesn't matter your age.
That's right.
All generations seem to like the Beatles.
They do, yeah. And I feel like once we get going, we just keep going because the summer is just packed full of music. On Friday, on July 6th, then, we bring back Tonic Solfa, which is a favorite. They're a vocal band. Lots of folks.
Local.
Yeah, they're local. They're Minnesota. They're one of the. They're what?
They're Rice County.
Oh,
local.
Are they? Okay, I didn't realize they were that local. So Greg and that group comes back, and I know they're always fan favorites. And then the following Saturday, we have Memphis in the Meantime, which is the music of Sundance and the Grand Ole Opry. So those folks who are fans of that kind of classic country, that is that weekend. And also that weekend is a group called Songs of Hope. And they are an international choir summer camp. So kids come from all around the world, and they do 2 weeks of summer camp. and then they go on tour for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
So that's a free concert on that Sunday evening, and it's just donations. But we really want to bring folks in because there's, using really music to unite people and bring these young people together. And some of them are pretty young. So,
and these are from all over the world, you said.
Yes, that's an international choir called Songs of Hope. And that's a free show on a Sunday evening. So if people have been out the lake, they can come back. And we really want folks to come and celebrate that and celebrate those young musicians. And then we take a weekend off for the fair because we want to support the shows out at the fair. So next weekend we're off during the fair.
Well, that's pretty cool that you do that.
Yeah, and then Paradise Community Theater brings another musical to our stage when they do The Little Shop of Horrors. So watch out for that Venus flytrap as it takes over our stage. So it's really jam-packed all summer long.
That's good.
It is good, but it's busy. We oftentimes, the one weekend we don't have a show, is you're going to have those folks on the air next week, is when we have the recycled art sale. So even when we don't have a show, there's always something happening.
Yeah, recycled art sale. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so if folks are interested in donating, they'll be taking donations starting on the 31st, and then next week, next Monday, they'll be setting up. So they can bring in donations to the Paradise. If you're doing spring cleaning and feel like you want to change out some of that artwork or photography on your walls, you can donate it. And then that's a combined program with the Mural Society and the Paradise. So they'll talk more about that on Monday and how those funds are used.
Sure, we'll look forward to that. That's on That's on Monday, the 4th of June.
Yeah,
which is next Monday.
I was just confirming. So yeah, so June 30th. So we have June 1st. This week is Deuces Wild, and then we've got Merlin, and then June 30th is the Fab Six. I keep thinking Fabulous because we had that ABBA show. Fab Six, their Beatles show, and then on the 14th of July, that's at Memphis in the Meantimes. And for folks who've been to shows at the Paradise before, that's Mick Sterling, the same guy who does At Christmas. So this is more straight up music, but they have several different shows. But this one is a really great country music compilation. And then that Songs of Hope show I mentioned, that free concert, is on Sunday, July 15th.
You have some comedians coming this summer or fall?
We have Jen Kobar coming in September. She's coming later in September, and she actually was the winner of NPR Snap Judgment, so it's a big deal. She's been on a lot of TV shows, done kind of Mike and Molly, those kind of comedy sitcoms. She's had ongoing roles on these TV shows, so she's out of LA and she's coming to Faribault to do a comedy show for us.
Wow.
So that's very exciting. Her Girl Scout cookies, I guess you can Google it. It won the.
You're talking about Girl Scout cookies.
Yes, Girl Scout cookies. So, but has lots of very fun humor. I got to preview her last summer and just thought she would be very fun. She's originally from the Midwest, and so has a kind of. There's a picture of her on a tractor kind of in LA.
Well, that's good that she can relate, because people in the Midwest are different from people in LA.
Absolutely. So.
And people in LA and the Midwest are different from people on the East Coast.
Yes.
So I'm glad to hear she's from the Midwest so she can relate to us flyover country people.
She can pull that in. So lots of great things. I know when Julie's on Monday, she'll talk about some of the classes. We just want to remind folks who might have kids or grandkids or nieces and nephews, we still have opening we are doing the Lion King Jr. later this summer. It's a 3-week day camp, and then the kids will put on a production for a weekend, and that is just a great opportunity. We got a grant from the Southeastern Minnesota Arts Council to do that production of the Lion King Jr. along with some other children's theater programs. So folks can sign their kids up for that. It's a great opportunity. If you've got grandkids, we invite you to have them come out and try out theater, because even if they don't want to be on stage, there'll be something for everybody to do.
And I'm sure you're pretty excited about the Main Street car cruises, joining artists on Main Street.
Yeah, we've got the Creative Crawl happening the same time. Thanks for mentioning that. So there's different artists, and then some of the shops in town that feature art or some creative opportunities are doing that. And for folks interested, we are on June 7th from 5 to 7 continuing the creative conversation. So people just interested in how to make Faribault creative, and we talked about that economic arts impact study. The arts bring over $2 million to Faribault. Just to Faribault, just to our community through people when they come to a show, either at the Paradise or someplace else with their businesses. So that's just how we can continue to build on the creativity here in the community.
Yeah, they buy gas here, they eat in the restaurants here.
Yeah, so that will be coming up next week, and there's right at the Baccarat building between the Cheese Cave and Bluebird, you can grab a coffee or a glass of wine and join us for that conversation. It's just drop in whenever you want to come from 5 to 7.
Again, ParadiseCenterForTheArts.org is their website. ParadiseCenterForTheArts.org, where you can purchase tickets for anything that Kristen just mentioned, including the comedy show, right?
Yep, they're open and tickets are available through all the shows through the end of the year. So we're very excited, and you can also call our box office 507-332-7372 or stop into the box office to purchase your tickets. We're open noon to 5 Tuesday through Saturday, and then we stay open late on Thursdays till 8, and then we always open 1 hour before the show. But for Deuces Wild, don't wait, because that show will sell out. So get your tickets ahead of time.
Yep, 7:30 this Friday is when the curtain goes up. $23 for members, students, $28 for non-members. Is it too late to become a member?
It is never too late to become a member, and from the time you get your membership, it's from that date through the next year. So we are so thankful for our members and also our sponsors. This show, Deuces Wild Dueling Pianos, is part of the Crossroads Marquee Series.
So if I purchased my ticket today, my anniversary date would be this date next year.
Yes, and you'd get $5 off your ticket. So right there, you only have to go to a couple of shows or take a couple of classes, and you've already earned that money back. But you're also helping support the Paradise as a nonprofit. Those members make all the difference for all the programming we do.
Yeah. All right. And you can do that online too, I assume.
You can, right, when you're purchasing tickets, or you can call the Paradise and we can get you a membership over the phone.
Fantastic. ParadiseCenterForTheArts.org. Thanks, Kristen. Appreciate your stopping by.
Thanks, Gordy.
We look forward to visiting with Julie on Monday. That concludes today's edition of AM Minnesota. Tomorrow we head over to Morristown, talk about Dam Days on K